So this is what it looks like to be inside of the fuselage of a Jenny. Wow, that sounds funny. Hi, Noah. Hi. I was hoping my head could fit all the way up through. All right, guys. So if you're not familiar with what's going on, we're building a giant Jenny. And this project started off with me designing it right before Flite Fest. And our good friends at Hotwire Foam Factory helped us out with cutting out all of these at Flite Fest. And then we started assembling with the help of some of the community. And after that, we got the rest of it built, drilled a bunch of holes in the wings to lighten it up, and got it covered in covering film. Now today, what we're gonna do is get some final touches put on this thing and get it up in the air.
So any tips on when you're doing covering film?
Actually, all the newer covering film that we supply and everything, it stretches really nice. It's really easy to use. You can make some pretty big mistakes and cover it up fairly easy. My biggest recommendation is if you do have a lot of problems, use a heat gun after you iron it. That can usually take out most of the wrinkles, and yeah, it's pretty simple.
That'd be cool, bro.
Thanks. So Josh, I've been kind of playing around trying to figure out how to make the giant Jenny have spoked wheels. And this is what I could come up with to make it strong, but still have the right look.
It's like an optical illusion. It looks spooky, but when you look at it, it's triangles.
Yeah, if you look at it straight on, it looks great. But if you look at it from an angle, it looks kind of weird.
That is so cool.
It looks sweet from like the front on view, dude. It looks wagged, but it looks sick.
I bet you when it's spinning,
Oh,
you're not
it's gonna
going to see
look
like the
sweet.
triangles, yeah.
Yeah, you can't really.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when it comes to 3D printing, you can't really do spokes very easily because there's angles there, and it makes like the slicing weird, and it wouldn't be strong enough.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of did it this way, so it has like single layers that go all the way across to connect together, which adds strength. So I think yeah, we will
Very
make it
sure for
work.
the wheels.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're printing right now. Hopefully, we'll have one done after lunch.
So,
Yeah,
You're a wheelie master, dude.
yeah.
we're getting better with it. And I'm also getting the bamboo labs all set up so they can run very assured too at the same time. So, it's all about tweaking little settings here and there, getting it figured out.
Very Assure is kind of cool because it's like TPU, but it's more rubbery. So you can legitimately have like these scale-looking wheels that are light but like squishy in a different way than TPU. When
Yeah, exactly. It's a TPU, but it foams up when it heats up. So it's just like the lightweight. It foams up when it's coming out of the nozzle, and it makes it look like a tire, feel like a tire. I mean, it's pretty strong and durable too.
We got that back in stock on our store. We got lightweight PLA back in stock. Check it out if you guys want to put these two.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna
Awesome.
go reprint this and see how it turns out.
I love it. Thank you.
All right, guys. So this is kind of exciting. I got our rims done. Josh approved them. They look great. Now we've got a tire. Now this is made out of our Very Assure TPU, and I have to say, I mean, it looks like rubber here. So yeah, it's a moment of truth to see if it fits here and see what it feels like. Oh, that's gonna be so cool. All right, so now that I have this done, I also 3D printed these pieces here, which are gonna be our landing gear supports. I need to get the rest of these glued into the fuselage like so. And then it's on to doing some welding and getting landing gear put on.
Those are really cool.
I'm just on a roll.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's like a 2 out of 10.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm done. It's not very often we actually are out here, but this is the cart barn where we work on all of our equipment and everything for the golf course. Now in this case, I'm out here because of this guy right here. This is our new Yes Welder. Our friends over at Yes Welder just hooked us up with this, and we're getting ready to weld the landing gear on the Jenny. So I decided rather than just getting started on the Jenny, I grabbed some old pieces of metal here, and I'm just going to test this welder out, make sure it's all tuned and everything so I get the best welds I possibly can for the Jenny beforehand. All right, so basically we've got our Yes Welder here, and just from initial thoughts, it's lightweight, it's pretty reasonably priced, and I mean, the interface on it seems to be real easy and user friendly. So basically in this case, this welder has plenty of options. It can be a stick welder or arc welder, commonly known. And in this case, we're actually doing a MIG welding, but it's flux core MIG welding, which means it doesn't have an inert gas that gets hooked up to it. It's just a little bit of a cheaper way and easier way of doing this, although the welds don't turn out quite as good as they would if we were using gas. So I got some metal ground down here. I'm just gonna lay a couple of passes of weld just to make sure everything's gonna work out good. All right, so basically what you do is you make sure you've got a clean piece of metal. This one's clean enough, you know, I hit it with a grinder a little bit. You wanna make sure your ground's actually hooked up to the piece of steel that you're getting ready to weld on. And in this case, I'm just gonna lay a flat bead right on the steel, not welding anything to it, just kind of feeling out the welder and seeing, you know, what kind of path it lays, how much burn it has, you know, like basically the temperature that it's set at, to make sure that it's penetrating into the metal. And once I do that, then I can make some adjustments, and then we'll try actually welding a piece of metal to this piece of metal. This is when everybody critiques my welds. Okay, so basically I can look at this already and tell you that since this was a thicker piece of metal, I didn't have the welder set up for that, and it didn't have enough temperature to actually penetrate down into the metal, and the weld's just laying on the surface. Alright, I can tell you already, this looks a lot better. So now we're going to move on to actually welding two pieces of metal together just to see how it works. Alright, so as you can see here, I finally got this all adjusted good. I'm getting good penetration. And another easy way to tell if you can on the piece of metal is just flip it over. And in doing so, you can see right here that it's kind of showing discoloration in the steel. And that means that it's getting penetration all the way through. And that's what you want. You know, basically, you need to make sure your metal gets hot enough to where it kind of mixes together and everything with the extra steel that you're adding in and makes a good solid weld.
Good.
All right, so it's definitely not my best work, but we are welding with flux core here, which always tends to spatter and not look quite as pretty. I'm happy with it though. It's definitely strong. It's not going anywhere. Now I say it's time that we move on to the Jenny and get that landing gear welded up. And I'm kind of excited about this. We're just going to be welding with flux core, but this is kind of an all-in-one welder. It'll do everything from, you know, MIG, TIG, stick. I mean, you name it, it's got it, which is going to be awesome for a lot of the things we do here. And honestly, this guy is pretty small and lightweight, and I think it's going to actually make it really nice to be able to move around in here and work when we need to. So now one of the things that I'm really impressed with is this has a very simple, easy to use interface. It has this giant 7-inch display screen, and we're going to do with flux core welding, so I'm just going to set it on that, click on it. And then up top here, you can see all kinds of different settings, and that's our wire size. We're welding steel, 14 gauge steel, and it saves all this stuff too. So not only is it very easy to use, but once you get all your settings and stuff figured out, you can come back and use that exact same profile again if you're welding the same kind of materials. Alright guys, so I never claimed to be a professional welder or anything, but I do have quite a bit of experience with it. Although this is just flux core MIG welding, so basically it's just point and shoot. We're going to try this thing out and see how it does. So currently all I'm doing is tacking everything in place, and then I'm going to take some measurements, make sure everything looks good, and then we'll weld it up so it's nice and solid. So my initial reactions on this welder is, I mean, it's a great beginner's welder, and it can go all the way up to intermediate or even advanced users. It just works. Like, all the presets are there. You know, I put in what thickness of metal I was going to be welding, you know, flux core. So if you're interested in learning how to weld, or you are already a welder, make sure you check out Yes Weld, because I have to say, this welder is actually going to be able to do everything we need to get done here at Edgewater and at Flite Test. So make sure you guys go check out the DP200 that we have here, or their other lineup of welders. Alright guys, so I'm going to get this taken back inside, and we're going to get some wings put on it. We are trying to get the wings fitted on the Jenny, which is one of the very difficult things we gotta do. I'm trying to make this so it'll come apart so we can get it outside and, you know, load it in trailers and stuff like that. Well, in the process, we have 8 bolts that actually hold the wing together inside the fuselage. And just getting that fit and finish perfect is kind of a
Literally,
So-
my butt is in pain.
yeah, we're trying to get
This
it
one
figured
should be-
out. I think we'll get it here eventually. We're really close. You know, there's just you know, 8 bolts that have to line up perfectly. You know, no wiggle room.
And you got to drill the holes on your outside of the airplane, so it's like, did you have the right angle? Is it big enough? So, who knows? But this front one should go in real nice.
Does this look straight, Noah?
It's good.
I didn't even check it before I glued it in, so I hope it is.
So what are you working on?
I'm working on the servo. So I got the servo plates glued in and the servos installed. These are 3005 servos. One thing that we didn't think about is we didn't run our wires to a central location. But that's okay because we can actually use our receivers and we can program an individual receiver on each side. Sounds like a lot of money, but when you figure all the different extension wires and all the points of failure, we can simply put a little 2-cell battery on each side of the wing, and then on the back here, we can have its own receiver, and then just one wire running up to control the motors. So 3 receivers, lots of redundancy. And one thing I just don't like about servo wires is, I mean, the more connections you have, even if you tape them, just more points of failure.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, if you have a brownout issue, which we haven't had on ELRS yet,
No, yeah.
but if you were to have a brownout issue, you know, you might lose your elevator and rudder, but you'll still have ailerons, so hopefully you can
Yeah.
at least make it safe so it's not going to take out a car or a person.
In a perfect world, basically you could split the elevators, and in this case the ailerons are split, so even if I lost one aileron, I still have bank control through the other one with a separate receiver. But if you're going to do this properly, you'd actually have the elevator split and 2 separate receivers. So ideally, you would basically lose one, but if you didn't lose all, you still have good control. So
Makes total sense.
yeah, and it's cheap now. It's really cheap now.
Well, I greatly appreciate you helping me out. I hate doing electronics. He loves it, so I'm finishing up the framework and you're working on electronics.
It's good. You're just going to epoxy these in.
Perfect.
So Dave, are you excited to get this thing up and flying?
I am, but I'm also very nervous because, you know, the Megalacy flies great, which is, you know, one of our other monsters. The other monster we did was the B-17. And, I mean, it flew tremendously well, but it was terrifying to fly. Like, it took the joy out of it. And I'm hoping we get another Megalacy to where we want to take it out all the time and enjoy it on a regular basis. You know, it's nerve-wracking to know if it's going to be that until we fly it.
So Dave is working on the motor here. I'm doing the push rods because for some reason I like push rods, and Dave loves that, right?
Yeah, I hate push rods.
So I don't want to take any chances at this, so we actually ordered our same control horns that we use for our monster planes from carbon fiber from PCB Way. I'm going to go ahead and glue and epoxy these in. I'm going to let them fully dry, and then I can hook up the linkages. Now this is all made possible by our friends at PCB Way. They can basically make project ideas in a small quantity a reality just for you. Now we have a lot of really cool tools we've been blessed with at Flite Test, but a milling machine and carbon fiber plate are simply not one of them. Simply by downloading our files to PCB Way, waiting a couple weeks, we got these right in the mail and they're perfect. So now that we have our control horns, we're ready to move on to our next step in the build. My favorite things is going from doing a build video to seeing what Dave is up to. That tail made everything.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a twist in it. So right now I've got a bunch of weight on this side, and I'm heating up the fuselage to try to twist it back.
Yeah.
I think when I did the covering film, it just kind of tweaked stuff a little bit. So it's all about making sure it's right.
It's actually a very common thing with any balsa wood model and stuff. You got to do this on the regular, and also for putting things like washout and wings and stuff. You would push flat against the table with some balsa wood blocks under one edge, lift up for a certain amount, and then you take out the wrinkles and go straight. We did that on the Pluton plane.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
Hopefully this fixes the problem. We'll see. I'll leave it sit for a little while with that weight on there and see what we have on it.
Looks incredible.
Yeah. Basically, we're down to just getting some electronics and I think getting the motor mounted. I got to paint the 3D printed cowling to put on the front and figure out weight and balance.
I love it.
No way.
I think you're good. It worked.
Yeah, so basically we just scaled up everything from the Jenny XL to figure out where CG was, and if that's correct, our CG line should be right behind this front spar on the top wing, and it balanced perfectly.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And that was just a guess on putting two 10,000 milliamp batteries in the nose. And yeah, I mean, it's very encouraging.
Yeah. We're ready to fly it.
Yeah, I think so.
So how are you guys going to get this out of the door? Are you going to disassemble?
I'm hoping it'll fit. We're gonna try to make it fit without taking it apart. It's not that hard to take it apart. It's just kind of involved, I guess. You know, it's what 8, 9, 10 screws, 11, 12, 13, 14 screws to take it apart.
If you had to, could you take off one side of the wing and leave the other one on?
Yes, we could. So yeah, that's always an option too. But I think we'll be able to get it. I'm thinking if we get one person in front, one on each side here, we can tip it up. It's not that heavy.
Where's safety grab here anywhere?
I think. Yeah, well, you've got all the batteries. Tip your end down.
What do you think of it?
It's a little bigger than the last one.
Good. Okay. Don't pull up. Okay. Looks good. Oh.
Oh man.
I don't know what you guys are seeing that
What
I'm
about-
not seeing, but I don't see it.
I don't see it either. I do. But I believe in David, so.
I believe in.
Truthfully, I hope I'm really wrong.
Okay. So are they gonna like lube it?
I think that's his spot.
Tip towards me. Okay, grab the.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
He may be right.
He might be right, dude. Dude, we never should doubt Dave.
Yeah,
If this happens, if this works, we should never doubt him ever again.
This is crazy.
I'm gonna be the bumper here for this wing.
Nope. No, I don't either.
Give me a sawzall.
So Stefan,
Yes, sir.
what's your thoughts?
First off, my thought is it's a very big airplane. This is how wide is this, Josh? 8 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is about
6 feet? All right, so about 6, 7 feet. The fact that this is 14 foot wingspan, obviously it's tough to get out of the thing. But when we do get it out of here, I'm very confident, based on the structure that has been built by David, that it's not only gonna look great, but it's gonna fly great. And I think with all the wing surface, it's gonna be very, very slow. That's my opinion.
So while the guys are trying to get the plane out the door, I ran back to grab my transmitter, and I also realized I forgot to charge my batteries. It's not a big deal now because we have the X16. This can charge it over a C rating on something as monstrous as a 10,000 milliamp, which means we're going to be done and charged in about 45 minutes. We're also testing out 2 new ISDT chargers here. As we love them, we put them on our store. So if you go to our store and you want a new charger, you'll see the ones that we have thoroughly tested and we absolutely love and stand behind. We're currently testing out the Q6 Retro and also the K2 Zip. I'm going to use this big X16 to charge up our 2 batteries in this little 45 minutes. And for the little batteries, I'm going to use the Q6 Retro to charge this little 2 cell. This works off a DC, so you can power it off your car or even another battery. One thing I want to encourage you is a good safe rate to charge at is 1C. And if you've never done those calculations, you basically look at the capacity of the battery. In this case, this battery is 10,000 milliamps, and you move the decimal places over 3. So that means we're going to move it over 3. We want to charge this at 10 amps. If we had a 2200 milliamp battery and we moved that decimal point over, the most we'd want to charge for a 1C rating, which is roughly charging in 1 hour, would be 222 amps. Now, we can push a lot more charge through that, but I'd strongly recommend that you start with 1C. It's the best for the battery, and in cases where you need to rush it, bump it up to C.5, 2Cs, but never leave it alone.
What's that servo?
So
It'll fit now.
boom. There. Listen, you're missing something. Now it's time to see if it will truly fit, which we believe it will.
I'm gonna grab this and put this in my thing. I don't even fit in. Honestly, this
Oh, how
doesn't fit
easy.
now.
Gosh.
Delicate.
I always said airplanes are never big enough.
You know it's light when one person can carry almost all of it.
I'll grab the transmitter.
So Dave, when are you gonna build me one?
Yeah. Okay, we're back on track.
All right.
Now you tax it down.
This is a big mini. It's funny because I never would have thought the thing like.
Putting it on the runway, Dave. Or you put it on the.
Oh, we'll set it down here.
Look at that.
Perfect. Jenny.
Here's the problem: when you go behind the trees, you're not gonna be able to see it.
It's gonna be invisible. So we're gonna fly this from Adam's Ready Board runway. The wind's going perfectly right down it, and it's kind of cool because the original versions of this are all built out of our maker foam, which is made by Adams. But also, if you guys don't know this, all the free plans that we put out, you could basically repeat those designs with Adam's Ready Board.
Yeah.
So that's $1 a sheet, or I think inflation's now taking it to $1.25 a sheet.
Whatever.
Actually, this has, Ready Board in it too.
Yeah, it's
It
got
does.
foam board in there.
Yeah,
In
the turtle deck.
Turtle deck, and you have some of the servo bracing and stuff like that. So although it's made out of rigid foam, so if you guys don't know about our scratch building though, basically we make sure that anything we design can be either made out of our maker foam, our Flite test foam, or Adam's Ready Board. I don't think we'll have a problem with power.
Okay.
That's scary.
Yep. I don't want to go to full throttle until I'm in the air.
I think this is going to be like the B-17 where we go half throttle and that's it.
Yeah, let's tie it to the Jeep and pull.
So, we're coming from that way, correct?
Yep, flip me 180 and I think we'll give it a whack.
the old 180.
Dave, you sure you don't want to test fly your beautiful build here?
I'm good. I mean, unless you really want me to.
I mean, no, I just feel like I'm taking the joy out of it. This looks amazing.
No, the joy is hopefully seeing it in the air.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
All right, let's go stand over here then.
Right there. All right, moment of truth, guys.
All right. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm kind of nervous.
Well, this was a pet project of mine I started right before Flite Fest. The Hotwire foam guys helped me out big time at Flite Fest, and a couple of other people actually joined in and kind of helped build too. Unfortunately, it was put on the back burner a little bit. Now we're revisiting it, and I mean, it turned out great.
You crushed it, bro. It looks amazing.
Well, if it's any similarity to the first two, the Mini and then the XL version, I think it's gonna be incredible.
Yeah.
All right, Mike's gonna be chasing after us here. I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited and nervous.
You're fine,
Yeah.
dude. You got this, buddy.
All right, are we ready, guys?
All right, let's do it.
All right, hey, Jay Banks, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
I was praying,
I was
Lord.
stalling, delaying.
Lord, please get this in the air.
Amen.
Amen.
Ready? Here we go, guys.
Here we go.
3,
2, 1, and here we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it did
Yes.
it, dude. It was, wow. Is it? Oh my goodness, what's going on, Jay
Whoa.
Banks?
That's full throttle, guys.
Is
That's
it really?
full throttle?
Yep.
I wonder if it's just.
Oh
my
God.
Whoa!
Okay, he
Oh
just skimmed the
my
top of the tree.
Yeah, I was
You-
like, there was no climbing above them. We had to like turn.
It doesn't have the power then.
No, that's crazy.
I wonder if it's just too small of a prop.
It may be, but it flies great. Like it flies like the Big Jenny, but everything is doppy, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Look how slow it is.
It's super slow.
All right, now I can breathe.
Yeah, you're above the trees, you can breathe.
Is it a little nose heavy?
No, it's perfect, but I think this is crazy. I don't know. We're
What
gonna
is
have to, we'll have to
happening
do
right
a
now?
stress test later.
I
On
don't
the
know what's
servo.
happening. Josh is saying words.
I'm getting worried.
He's not
Yeah, I'm
literally.
literally like I want to enjoy the moment, but I'm like, okay, that rudder is really anemic.
Okay, and watch out for trees.
Keep it above the trees because we don't
I
want
don't.
to climb.
Yeah, the rudder's moving a little
Is
bit.
it? I think this
It
is the
doesn't
blast
look
effect.
like you're moving it a lot though.
All right. This is awesome! It's
It is
amazing,
super
right?
cool.
It's supposed to be sketchy.
Right, there's sketchy Maidens all the
It looks great.
It does.
It does.
I wonder if maybe we should add in a second servo for the rudder.
Yep. We're gonna bring it right
Bring
down
it.
and land her. What a great plane!
Oh.
Whoa!
Okay, so maybe I should glue those on, huh?
I think so.
That was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
I feel like something just happened from back in the 1900s.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't see it, but what happened was these wheels that were literally on the plane rolled off and just went in different directions.
So it was like tire goes off. It's like this isn't gonna be good, but the rim's still on it. And it's like trying to get it down lightly. It's like
Yeah, I think it broke the rims too.
I think
Yeah.
it's, maybe we go to a solid wheel.
Yeah,
And
Yes.
Let's see.
The
The rudder's moving, but either we need.
It wasn't in the air. It didn't look like it
Yeah,
had
it didn't
much.
look
So
like it.
I wonder if it just needs another servo put on it.
I think it needs to be amped up a little bit. But it flew fantastic. It literally, the biggest thing was just it was super doppy, and I'm really surprised it wasn't as powerful as it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we just need to go with a 30-inch prop.
Sounds like a wonderful problem. It'll look even better.
I like that. I like that a lot.
All right, let's go assess
Yeah.
the landing gear here, see what happened, and
Perfect.
yeah.
Make our plans.
Unbelievable.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, but how close was it to the crown of the trees?
close.
Close.
Yeah, I mean, you can
Yeah, it
see
snapped off the.
You can see the thing right
My spokes did not hold up.
there. Wow.
And-
This side did though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's no wheel on that one either.
Yeah, I blew
both
both
of
of them off. The other one's over here.
Do it like this, ping, and then you landed the other one and went ping.
Oh my
I
gosh.
debated putting glue on them. I bet if I would have, they would have been fine.
Well, now we know. Science.
It's awesome.
Everything else looks, the landing gear looks good. Nothing damaged. It's just, yeah, I think just the mechanical advantage or
The lack
disadvantage of that
power,
rotor.
huh?
Yeah, well, it probably is actually very scale. So friends, thanks for being part of the Flite Test family. Hit that subscribe bell because we're not still done with this. You already,
No, we got to make it look pretty now.
yeah, well, I think it's pretty, but scale, right?
Yeah, well, we got to do, you know, like some sort of, you know, logos on it or something, and paint this cowling and
Yep.
fix the landing gear and stuff, and maybe a couple other tricks too. We'll see what happens.
Yep, and along with that, we have a lot of fun, wacky builds coming up. We have some really cool project releases. Make sure you're there for all of it. Hit the subscribe bell. We'll see you next time.